Hey, how's it going? Jason here, and in this episode we're going to be talking about aluminum bonsai wire. Alright, so I get a lot of questions on what size of wire to get when you're first starting out. And there's a ton of wire sizes to choose from. They go from 1.0 to 1.2, 1.5, 1.8, all the way to 7.0 being the thickest. So there's quite a lot of choices that you have when choosing aluminum bonsai wire. So in this video we're going to talk about some of the wire sizes that I think are essential. Maybe some that you can skip on for now, but it's probably still good to eventually have a good amount in your set that includes all the sizes from 1.0 all the way to 7.0. All right, so I've got a few wire sizes here. I've got one right here, I've got one right here, I've got this one and this one, and they're all different sizes. So my favorite wire sizes are 1.5, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. If I were to just choose four of them, I would probably just choose those four. There's different ways that you can utilize just those four, but those are the ones that generally I use all the time. Especially when I'm just doing some restyling. I usually go for my 1.5 and 2.0s all the time. So you'll notice that I started with the 1.5 rather than the 1.0. And the reason that I do that is because the 1.0s are just too thin. They're just way too thin and they barely hold anything unless you're doing really, really fine detail wiring, which in most cases, most people aren't actually doing that. They're actually just trying to bring down maybe some simple branches like this little one right here, or maybe just the tips right here. And usually 1.5s will do that pretty well. And then 1.8s are pretty similar to 2.0s. They're very close. So if you had to just choose one, I just choose the 2.0. That way you can go ahead and bend some heavier branches. And there's a 2.0 right here. You can bend some heavier branches that are a little bit thicker, and you can get a little bit more done with it. The problem with the 2.0s is that, and that's why I have the 1.5s, is that you can't go into the really thin wires with the 2.0s, and that's just because if you go into the thinner wires, all you'll see, if you go just the thinner branches, all you're going to see is wire. And then from the 2.0s, you can go to 3.0, so you can skip 2.5, you can go to 3.0, which is this guy right here. And this one will let you do most of the thicker branches like this. You see how the wire is holding the branch down? See how the wire is holding the branch down? That means that the wire is going to be thick enough to bend this branch instead of the branch actually bending the wire. So you know that 3.0 can do most of the secondary branches that come off of the raw material that most beginners are working on, say something like this. And then if you really get into the 4.0s, like this one right here is much thicker. This is for your heavier secondaries. Now, you'll notice that I didn't put any 6.0 or 7.0 in my choice of 4, and that's just because most of the time beginners, you're not trying to bend the trunks. You're usually just trying to work with some basic material like this. You tilt it up like this, start to bring your branches left, right, and to the left, to the right, your first branch, your second branch, and your back branch. Maybe adjust your apex a little bit, but your 4.0 is usually going to let you do a lot of that when you're working on a 1 gallon raw material. So I'm gonna take this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this 1 gallon right here, and I'm not gonna wire the whole thing. I'm just gonna cut off some branches so you guys can see, get a feel for sort of the thicknesses of the branches and why I choose those 4 wire sizes. All right, so I do like this tree a lot, so I'm gonna go take off a few sample branches here because I would like to style it. If you guys want to see me style this, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do a time lapse on this one. But for now, I'm just going to grab some sample branches that I know I'm not going to use, so I'm going to cut these off. Looks like the branches that I would use a 4.0 on, I don't want to cut off, so I'll just show you on the tree. Okay. All right, so I got a few. I got a few little branches right here. These little tiny ones. I got these tiny ones right here. Okay, so if you take a look at this wire right here, you can see that this is my 1.5. You can see that these little branches are almost the same diameter and thickness right here. So when you're choosing, these ones right here. So when you're choosing wire, you want to go with something that's about 1/2 to 1/3 the diameter of the branch. So that way you know that it's going to bend it. This is a 1.5, and you can see that this is going to easily bend this branch with no issue. Say this is attached to the trunk. This will bend it without any issue, so you know that this wire is going to work really well. If we're going to something thicker, like this one I cut off, it's going to start pushing against the wire. You can kind of see, let me straighten this out. It's going to start pushing against the wire. See how the wire has bent now? It was straight, and then it's bending it up. So you know that this branch won't do it, and that's why I'll move on to a 2. See how it's starting to bend it with the 2? So I'll use maybe a 2 on this one. And then, of course, if I use a 3, which is over here, let me straighten this out. If I use a 3, then let's go bend it for sure for no problem. But say this part is where it was attached to the trunk, this side right here. This part will always be thicker than ones at the ends because these are younger. So that means that the 3, though it can bend the outside edges here, or the outside foliage, will actually be perfect for bending the branch if I want to get it really close to the trunk, which would be right in here. Now for the 4, I've got this 4 right here. I got this 4. So this would be for something that's as thick as maybe this one right here. You guys see that? You see this one's pretty thick. That one right there. So this one would be perfect for bending that one. You can see how the wire is holding the branch down with no issue. So then the 4 would be used for something like that. So from those 4 sizes, I can wire this entire tree without having to dip into other sizes. Now the in-between sizes, say the 2.5, the 1.8, those are really good for if you want to make sure that you don't see that much wire on your branches. So if you go into those kind of in-between sizes, it's to get really detailed so that you completely minimize the amount of wire that's actually viewable on the tree. The aluminum wire is black, so that way you will see that on the branch a little bit more. But if you get those in-between sizes, you can cut down on that so that you're seeing mostly just the actual natural wood. All right, so hopefully that gives you an idea of some wire sizes to choose. Once again, 1.5, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 millimeter for aluminum bonsai are my choices to go with. That will let you mostly do 1 gallon material like this, raw material like this, but it'll also let you do a tree like this one that I did last time. This is mostly filled with just the 1.5, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. So those are my go-to wires. And if you really only want to buy 4 sizes, those would be the ones that I would purchase. All the other in-betweens, or if you really want to get some detail, it's going to look a lot better on your tree when you do the in-betweens, but just those 4 wire sizes will get you through most of it. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and give me a like if you thought the video was helpful, and make sure to subscribe so I know that you guys are enjoying these videos. Otherwise, thanks for watching.